Give it a second, see if anybody tunes into this thing. BroncoStevens here from the BroncoStevens channel. And I was just going to kind of talk to you tonight about, like, I don't know, going through life. You feel, you get older and you feel like you're supposed to feel older, but I don't. I feel like a 50-year-old kid. And I feel like the only thing I feel different is like I don't have that like childlike intuition that I used to have. And I guess what I mean by that is like when I was a kid, things just seemed like more magical. Like you could like think about them and make them happen more. Like there were more possibilities available to you. I don't know if that's like life just kind of crushes that as you get older. You get stuck in the routines of life. Having to get up, go to work every day, just the distractions. When you're a kid, you have more time to, at least you used to have more time to like focus on dreams and things like that and possibilities. And every once in a while, my kids will say something that like reminds me of something that used to happen to me when I was a kid. Like I remember getting up in the middle of the night and like I'd rub my eyes and I'd see like little pixelated like images and like blue and red, and like whatever I thought of one of them would be, like there'd be like hundreds of them or thousands of them like surrounding my bed, all the same little image. And I remember that, and as I get older, I'm like, did I really see that, or was I imagining that, or was it a dream? And then I hear my kids say that they see stuff like that, and then it's like, oh, okay, I guess that maybe kids do see that. Maybe through time you lose that, or I don't know, maybe you rationalize it as something else. But I remember one specific event I was going to share with you all tonight, about when I was like, I guess I was probably close to 20, and I had this friend Derek, and I worked with him in a golf course. And that was one of the most fun jobs I ever had, working on the golf course, because one, it's just serene, being out there. I used to mow fairways a lot, was one of the jobs that I had. And it was surprisingly a physical job because you had to empty all the buckets, had 5 buckets across the front of it, and every time you make a pass across the fairway, you had to empty those. And so if the grass got long, it became a lot of work. But long story short, Derek and we used to go to the horse track races. That's back when I lived in Cincinnati, Ohio area. And if you're a kid, you're probably like saying Skibbity, Ohio right now. But anyway, Duckman, hey, what's up? What's going on? Just hanging, talking. I was talking about my buddy and I, Derek. We used to go to the horse track races in Cincinnati, Ohio. And him and I, for a while, we were just like trying to notice like patterns of numbers and like the racing, or just things we'd see, like, traveling around. We used to look at like license plates a lot, and we'd be like, oh, okay, we've seen those numbers a lot today. Let's bet on those. We used to bet trifecta bets, which, if you're not familiar with that, basically, all right, well, I appreciate you subscribing, Michael. I do comedy stuff, and so I would tell you, if you subscribe, you're going to see comedy. I'm a dad. I do a lot of comedy around being a dad, and so if you're into that, great. You'll probably watch it. If you're not, I don't want people to subscribe that aren't into kind of the material that I do. So right now I'm just chatting, but on the channel, it's more comedy stuff. I do some original music. Do some AI shorts and things like that. But you can check it out. I mean, if it's for you, then stick around. If it's not, you can always quietly disappear in the background. But anyway, him and I were looking at like patterns and numbers and stuff. And I remember one day I was asleep, and I had this dream about making a bet, and I couldn't remember when I woke up if it was in the 3rd race or the 8th race. But either, I thought it was the 8th. Like intuitively, I was thinking it was like the 8th race, but I had bet these numbers, and I remember what they are. I'm just not going to share them because I've kept these numbers throughout my whole life, and I use them like passwords and stuff. But anyway, it was 3 different numbers, and I woke up with these numbers, and I remember waking up to a phone call from Derek, and I was like, "Oh, Derek, it's crazy that you called." I said, "I was just dreaming about betting on horses." And I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, you probably like a gambling addict. I barely ever went to go to the horse races. And MW, hey buddy, hey, how's it going? And so we just started getting into this thing. And so it wasn't like ingrained into my mind to be dreaming about horse races. And so anyway, he woke me up with a call, and I used to work strange shifts and stuff, so I was sleeping in the middle of the day, and I was a kid, sometimes you stay out all night partying and then you sleep half the day away. Well, I was taking a nap, and he called and woke me up, and I said, "Hey, I just dreamt that it's the horse races, and I won." And he goes, "Oh man, there really aren't any today, where we normally went." And I said, "Oh, that's too bad." And he goes, "But there are some they're in Lebanon, Ohio, which is like an hour and a half away. I can't remember exactly." He said there's some horse cart races that they do. We could go up there. And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." And so I had nothing going on. So him and I went up there. And I remember on the way there looking at signs and license plates and stuff. And I remember seeing something that said 0318. And I interpreted that as it's not the third race. You're going to win in the eighth, one in the eighth. And so we get there, we make bets we're there anyway, so we're betting on all the races. And we get to the eighth race, and we're betting that trifecta bet. And back to what that is, the trifecta is basically you bet on 3 horses to come in, and you can box it to where you can protect it to where they come in any order. So as long as those 3 horses finish 1, 2, and 3 in any order, you can win. And so we did that in the 8th race. We doubled our bet. I'm like, this is it. And I told him, I had all the confidence from this dream. I was just totally this is going to happen. And sure enough, literally, as those horses are going, they get into that position, and it looks like for sure we're going to win. And it was one of those surreal moments where I'm like, is this really happening? I dreamt it this way. And they did. They came in literally in the order the 3 numbers that I'm not going to share with you because, again, they're a lot of my passwords and stuff. And he looked at me like, how the heck did you know that? And I was just even in myself, I was like, how did I know that? And it was just strange. And it's just one of those things where, it makes you wonder if we all have that intuition where we can tune into stuff, but we've just been more noise has been poured into us to where we just don't hear it or see it. They talk about putting fluoride in the water and blocking your pineal gland and what Wi-Fi does to you and all this stuff. You just got to wonder, what your capabilities are if you didn't have all that going on, or just the distractions in life. I mean, I'll tell you, as a dad, I've been working and grinding since I was 16 years old, having a job. Back then, I started on the golf course when I was 16. I remember I was the driving range kid that was in the car. I'll call it boy. Yeah, I was the driving range boy, and I was in that cage that literally everybody aims for. So I'm out there driving that little box with all the little catchers that catch the balls in front of it. And I'm telling you, I don't care how many times you get hit in that cage, it jump scares you every time. I mean, literally, you'll be driving around and all of a sudden that cage gets hit, and it's like that puff in your eye at the obstetrician. If you ever go get your eyes, if you have bad eyes like I do, and you put your face on that thing, and they're like, all right, we're going to put a little puff of air into your eye. That thing makes me jump every time too, and I know it's coming, But the ball cart cage was worse because that didn't sound good, the ball cage. But it was worse because you never knew exactly when they were going to hit you. You just assumed that they were aiming at you all the time because they were. And then every once in a while, you'd jump. So that was always fun. So, but yeah, I was just thinking about all those times when I was a kid, kind of the magic of being a kid, and how you get older and just life kind of steals it away. When you're little, it's just a different thing. And so if you're young and you're watching this, don't get in a hurry to grow up. I remember being young and looking at everybody old, thinking, "Oh, it's going to be great. I can't wait to be an adult." And now being an adult, I can tell you, don't rush, because all that comes with being an adult is tremendous amounts of responsibility, because you get a family, and then you're the protector of that family, whether it's against the world or finances or what it is, and that can be a lot of pressure on a dad. So my comedy, or my YouTube page, is He's a Dad. I try to do a lot of comedy because as a father, you just got to laugh sometimes. You just got to keep it light because life can be tough. And I've got a lot on my plate. I've got 6 kids in my house. I got my beautiful wife, and I've got 4 dogs. and it's just a lot, And so, I just got to make light of it and have fun where I can have fun. And I started a new thing called Mr. Stevens, and he's going to do silly songs, basically like child educational songs, but I'm just going to put an adult twist to them. Nothing crude or anything like that. I try to keep it pretty clean so families can watch. But that's just another angle I'm going to try. So anyway, if you're out here and you're watching, again, it's BroncoStevens. Would love for you to subscribe if you're into comedy. That's kind of the area that I'm going to be doing things in. And then tried a few scary story stuff, like bedtime stories. My kids, they like that. They like to get on at nighttime, like, Dad, can I watch the bedtime stories? And it's good now. When they were real little, I didn't really know exactly what I was saying yes to. Probably should have checked into it more. And I remember there was some nights that they were talking about like being scared of Mama Pig from Peppa Pig, and I'm like, what? Wow, what are you talking about? So there's some darker like versions of and I don't blame people for going into those avenues, but if you're a parent and you're approving stuff on here, you may want to be like, hey, let me see what you got, and then go for it. Sometimes you get lazy as parents, and you're like, oh, I'll go for it, because you want 30 seconds alone. Especially if you got a beautiful wife like I do. Sometimes you just want to be like, hey, get busy, so I can have 10 seconds apiece. So anyway, again, I appreciate you checking out what I've got going on here. If you see anything out there that makes you laugh, let me know in the comments. And if there's anything you want to see done, I don't mind trying new things either. So comment, hit me up. And other than that, you have a great night. Thanks. Bye.